if anybody's interested, I'm going to do a very brief, probably like 10 minutes training on Docassemble. And the target audience for this is people who know little to no coding and who might be interested in helping a little bit later on in the process, editing the default text of the questions that gets spit out by the wizard. All right. Missing anything there, David? Okay, great, cool. Got the thumbs up. All right, gonna do a screen share. So can anybody who has used GitHub before raise your hand? Okay, great. I see like 2.5 hands raised. So that's fine. A little bit of background while I figure out the screen share. I am a lawyer by trade. I have developed for Docassemble, successful programs that I swear to God actually work. And I didn't know how to do any of this 2 years ago. So it's not, if you are into this kind of thing, it's not that hard. The documentation in particular for Docassemble, which I will drop in the Slack after this, is incredible. Like it really teaches, basically documentation for any kind of program is the instruction manual on how to use it. I think the documentation for Docassemble is really well written and is designed in particular for people who aren't necessarily programmers to kind of get their feet under them. So all right, do people see GitHub? Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Great. Okay, so this is GitHub. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I'm one of you, right? And I just got a link in Slack that kind of said, hey, can you check out the text of these questions and maybe just edit it for grammar, punctuation, spelling, whatever. So I would drop this link that you see up here. This is to what's called my repository, github.com/brooksmk. That's me. That's all my stuff on GitHub. And then Docassemble Training Space is the name of this particular repository, and you can see it up here as well. What I did is I copied over an existing Docassemble repository that I've been working on so that you can see some of the stuff. You can see my mouse moving on screen, correct, everyone? All right, great. So you can see all the stuff that is normally populated down here. The long story short of this is like all the stuff down here, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to touch it. Anytime you go into one of these, you're going to want to click Docassemble. And then this will be the name of the actual interview. So for this one, it's start of case docs. You're going to click that. You're going to click data. You're going to click questions. And then you'll get a document that looks like this that ends in YML. YML stands for, is a file extension type for what's called YAML. YAML is a type of markup language. Quentin has explained to me many times what markup languages are and what they're for. I still don't understand it. That's okay. I can still write code in YAML. So if the great thing about some of this programming stuff is that, especially with the way Docassemble is built, you don't need to understand why something works necessarily. And in fact, that's kind of the beauty of a lot of Python programming and things like that. So let's go through this top down. This is an actual working interview that I made. That would actually work. These three dots right here sort of represent a screen. So if you come down here and you see this question, everything between these three dashes right here and these three dashes, that would all show on one screen in a Docassemble interview. Would it help people to see like what an actual Docassemble interview looks like really quick? Yeah, I'm gonna just—
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you another interview that I did that's on Greater Boston Legal Services website. And new share. So does everybody see something that says exemptions interview? This interview can tell you whether a debt collector can force you to pay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Thank you. So this is what a Docassemble screen looks like, right? This part up here is the question, and then these are the fields, yes or no. So if we hit no here, we then go to the next screen. No, go to the next one. No, go to the next one, blah, blah, blah. And then you start filling things in. You have checkboxes. Some things display after you hit certain other checkboxes. This is what the Docassemble interview is actually going to look like for people when they're filling it out. So when you see those 3 dashes back here on GitHub, where then everything between there is going to be one question. And for folks who aren't doing like actual coding and are doing wordsmithing, especially if you're a subject matter area legal expert, the area that we have here under question, that's all like safe to edit, right? This is just text that appears on the screen. It's not computer code. So I might send you a link to something like this, and I said, hey, Kate, can you look at these questions? And what she would do to edit this is she'd go down to the bottom, or no, the top, sorry, and click this little pencil, edit this file. And then you get something where you can actually just type in it like you would any other Word document. And she might say, scrolling down here, that no, this question isn't supposed to be directed to the client, it's supposed to be directed to an advocate. So you might say something like, tell me your client's name, email address, and BBO address if applicable. All right. So then if we open the interview in the Docassemble screen like up here, it would show that new text, right? And then we have down here fields. Fields are basically like matching the variables that you're putting here. So all the variables that you're putting into your PDFs right now, they're things like this: advocate.name.first, advocate.name.last, advocate.email. These use dots instead of underscores. We don't need to get into that right now. For the purposes of this conversation, just treat the dots and the underscores as the same. David and Quentin are probably like really wincing as I say that, but just trust me here. So basically, you can see up here, you might have a field that says car value, right? The label that shows here. And maybe this field is called car_value or car.value. And you can see by doing this that it's important that we have like names that are easy to understand and that are uniform. You also have kind of tags that you can put on these fields, right? You see here that you have data type email. That'll tell Docassemble like, oh, you're expecting something that's formatted like an email, or required false. Normally everything is, if you put required false here, it'll let a person continue with the interview without actually filling that in. Basically, the main takeaway is if somebody is telling you like, hey, I just want you to edit the content here, you click this link, you go here, you click the little pencil, and everything that's in under question, right, is safe. You can deal with that. The one thing you should also not worry about is GitHub is what's called a version control platform. It's a version control platform. So if I'm sending you a link and you make changes, I'm going to have a chance to look at and approve those changes before anything actually gets committed. So you don't have to worry about anything getting messed up beyond repair. By its nature, GitHub prevents that from happening. So we make these changes. a couple of things that are important when you're doing these questions. You see this vertical pipe here that needs to be after every question. If you press shift and hit the key right above enter on your keyboard, that's how you get the vertical pipe. It's also important that this be indented right here, right? So this might not work if I have it indented to be with question. If you just hit tab though, should be fine. And then for fields, you need to have these little dashes right here. This is just a dash, space, and then colon here. Again, if you look at the documentation for Docassemble, it has all this stuff in there. And this is stuff that even as somebody who's making things like this that has been doing it for a couple years, I am not like fluent in this language, YAML. I have to look this up all the time and have the documentation open. So that's just something you should expect. Another thing you should be aware of is things called comments. If you ever want to put a note into a piece of code that's just for people who are working with the code that's not meant to be seen by the user, you can do a comment. And you just do comment, colon, and then this vertical pipe right here. And these, this is another convention for Python. This is like the very first basic taste of Docassemble. There is a lot more here, but I don't want to overwhelm people to start with. And so I'm just keeping this like focused on what we absolutely positively need. If you're interested in learning this stuff, let me know. Happy to do more tutorials. When you're done, right, you have to commit the changes. So I would say something like fixed, math, stupid mistake, and then you hit commit, right? It might say something like pull request. It might not say commit for you, but you just hit whatever that big green button is. And then I or someone else will get a chance to approve it. Okay, I think I see something in chat here. Right. So I'm going to drop in the Slack right now the link to the Docassemble website. Great suggestion from chat. And does anybody have any questions? Cool. Docassemble is really great. Oh, yep, you can see my screen. Fantastic. Thanks for reminding me, David. Does that any questions? No. Okay, cool. If anybody else has other Docassemble questions.
Matt, you stopped talk. No one could hear you, I don't think.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if that was just me. Yeah,
No, I think it was like the last 20 or so seconds.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I think my headphones just died. That's what happened. So if we don't have any questions, which is fine, if you want to get more involved with Docassemble, want to learn more, want to know how to get started, let me know. We're going to need some people who have at least like a modicum of Docassemble experience in the days to come. And to do what we're going to be doing, I really don't think you're going to need a lot. I think you could pick it up in a day or two. So just let me know, and I'm happy to walk people through a little bit more one-on-one. David, anything I'm missing? Anything else we should discuss now?
I think we got it for now. Everyone's been great, and just thank you for all of your generosity of your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go do some stuff.
Yeah, I've been absolutely overwhelmed with the contributions that everyone's doing. When people are done with quality control steps, let me know. Go ahead and just upload things to the wizard. And if you're hitting roadblocks, just let me know. You've all been great about that so far. Cool. All right. Have a good rest of the afternoon and day, everybody.
See you tomorrow.